The free application for federal student aid, FAFSA, is used to apply for federal, state, and college-based financial aid. If you're a senior, you should file a FAFSA as soon as possible, starting October 1st. The FAFSA is one of the most important applications towards the college application process.
There are currently 27 Gear Up schools in the state of Kentucky, and Trimble County High School is one of them. Gear Up will pay for a pizza party to the first school that gets 85% of the seniors to fill out and submit the FAFSA. We are currently in second place with 42% of the seniors having completed the FAFSA. If you're one of those students, please stop by the College and Career Center to pick up your t-shirt and FAFSA bracelet.
What you're about to watch is a step-by-step tutorial on getting your federal student aid ID and filling out the FAFSA. Feel free to pause the video at any time you fill out your application. If some of the parts of this application do not apply to you and you need additional help, feel free to click on any of the links below or stop by the College and Career Center in room 210.
So before actually going to the FAFSA website, the first thing that we're going to do is create a federal student aid ID by going to fsaid.ed.gov. We're doing this step first because both the student and at least one parent or guardian need a federal student aid ID in order to sign the FAFSA electronically. You will also be saving yourself a lot of time by doing this step first because you will be able to directly log into the FAFSA website by using your federal student aid ID. The first thing that you'll be asked to do on the federal student aid ID website is provide a working email address, create a username, and a password. You can either use a personal email address or your Trimble County High School email address. The important thing is that you check your email for notifications and confirmations from FAFSA. And also make sure that you remember your username and password information because you will need this to both sign the FAFSA at the end and to log in to the FAFSA website whenever we start that process of the application. Make sure that your password contains numbers, uppercase letters, lowercase letters, special characters, and that it's in between 8 to 30 characters. After you write out this information, confirm that you're over the age of 13 and click continue to proceed to the next step. On the next page, you'll be asked to provide your social security number, your date of birth, and your full legal name. This is to make sure that the person who is filling out the application is who they say they are. So the important thing here is to make sure that you provide your full legal name as it appears on your driver's license or on your birth certificate, because if there are any issues that come up with your application, it's important that all of the information that you provided is 100% accurate and applies only to you. After you have filled this out, click continue to proceed to the next step. On the next page, you will see your profile information. So everything that you've filled out so far, just double check to make sure that it's accurate. And then also provide your home mailing address, including the street name, apartment number, city, state, and zip code, your phone number, and if you happen to have an alternate phone number, you can put that in as well. Once you have filled this information out, click continue and go to the next page. So on this page, you will create 4 challenge questions that will be used in case you forget your password and need to either reset it or recover it. For the first 2 challenge questions, you'll simply pick and choose the questions from the drop-down menu and then answer them appropriately. Challenge questions 3 and 4, you will actually write in the question yourself and then also answer it as it applies to you. When you write your own challenge questions, I would highly recommend that you write down questions that will not change with time. So for example, if you were to write in, what is your favorite song? And that song might change in a year or 2 years, and you might forget the answer to that question. But if you were to write in a challenge question like, what is the name of the first street that you lived on, that's something that won't change with time. So I would highly recommend that you choose and write down the type of questions that will not change with time. For challenge question number 5, it asks you to type in a significant date. This date cannot be the same as your birthday. So just make sure to write in a date that's important to you, but is not your birthday. When you're finished with your challenge questions, click Continue to proceed to the next step of the process. So on this page, you will basically just go over all of the information, double check that everything is correct, and then certify that all the information is correct, and click Continue. So now the only thing that you have to do is just verify your email address. The way you do this is by going to your email, opening up the email that you received from the Federal Student Aid ID website, and then entering the secure code into this page. You will have to have a verified email address in order to sign the FAFSA at the end. So just make sure that you do this, and it's easy to get it out of the way first. So congratulations, you have a Federal Student Aid ID, and now you can just click on the free application for Federal Student Aid link to go ahead and actually start your FAFSA. So click on that, or just go to fafsa.ed.gov, and then you will click on Start a New FAFSA. So now we're finally ready to fill out our FAFSA. Because we've created a Federal Student Aid ID, you can just use either your username or the email address that you've used when creating your Federal Student Aid ID account to log into the FAFSA directly. So just go ahead and do that. Put in your username, type in your password, and then click Next. And then after that, you will click Start the 2017 and 2018 FAFSA. So on this page, we'll create a save key. This key is used to save your progress in case you have to stop your FAFSA and come back to it. You won't have to redo all of the information. So just make sure to create a save key and then click Next to continue. The next page has helpful links that answer the most frequently asked questions about the FAFSA. So if there's something that you would like to know that you see on this page, just feel free to click on it. Otherwise, click Next. After that, it will take you to the student demographic information page. Most of the information that you've put in when creating your Federal Student Aid ID will be transferred onto this page. However, there are a couple of questions that you will need to answer in order to proceed. So fill in everything that hasn't been filled in, and then click Next to go to the next step. So in order to be eligible for Federal Student Aid, you either have to be a citizen or a legal resident of the United States. And if you're a male over the age of 18, you have to be registered with the Selective Service System. This doesn't mean that you are registering for any particular branch of the military. This just means that if you are between the ages of 18 and 25, and there happens to be a crisis situation in the United States and the draft is instated, you are registered for that. And pretty much all men between the ages of 18 and 25 have to do that. So if you're not sure if you're registered with the Selective Service System, just click No and click Register Me, and that'll automatically register you for that. If you're a female student, this question is not really applicable to you right now. If you're a graduating senior, you'll click that you'll receive a high school diploma when you begin college in the 2017-2018 school year. And for the college grade, when you begin the 2017 and 2018 school year, you will click Never Attended College First Year if that is what's applicable to you. Continue to answer your student eligibility questions to the best of your ability, but notice how whenever you click on a new question, the help and hints box on the right-hand side of the page changes to explain that question specifically. So if you're not sure about a question, please refer to this box when answering it. The only reason why I'm saying this is because if I were to explain every single question on the FAFSA in this video, the video itself would take hours. So if you really aren't sure about any question in particular, just save your FAFSA and then stop by the College and Career Center in room 210, and we can work together to answer a specific question for you. So let's move on to the next step. So the next step asks for the name of your high school. Here's a quick shortcut. Just click on the state in which your school is located. So go down to Kentucky, click on page 8, select Trimble County High School, and click Confirm. After that, click Next to proceed to the next page. So now you are going to add the colleges that you will be applying for. You can select up to 10 schools, and you basically look them up in a very similar way that we've used to look up our high school. One important thing to note here is that you can add up to 10 schools to send your federal student aid information to. And you don't actually have to apply to all of these schools. However, if you're even thinking of applying to the school, I would suggest that you add the school to this list, because in this way, every single school that you add will have your federal student aid information already, and the only thing that they will need from you is your application. So once you've added all of the schools, just click Next to continue. On this page, you'll be asked to provide your housing plan for your freshman year of college. It's important to note that schools like the University of Kentucky and the University of Louisville require all freshmen to live on campus unless they live in the city with their parents. So just answer these questions appropriately. And then click Next. Now you will be asked questions to determine your dependency status. For the most part, the majority of incoming college freshmen are considered dependent. So answer the following questions appropriately, and if you are considered a dependent, you will have to input your parents' information, or you can ask a parent or guardian to fill out the parent information for you. If you do choose to have a parent or guardian fill out the information contained in the next section, make sure that you click Save before exiting or logging out, because otherwise you'll have to fill out the entire application from the start. Okay, now we're on the first page of the parent section of the FAFSA application. And as you may have already noticed, the color of the layout is slightly different, but the format of the questions is very similar to the previous section. Additionally, just as in the student section, whenever you click on any question in particular, you can look on the right hand side in the help and hints section for that question to be able to answer it appropriately if something is a little bit unclear. And when you have finished filling out the demographic information, just click Next. Double check it first to make sure that everything is in order, and then click Next to proceed to the next section. The next page asks you for your federal tax information from the previous year. So the taxes that you have already completed, those will be put into the next page. This is very important because the amount of money that students are eligible for, or the amount of subsidized or unsubsidized loans that students are eligible for, are dependent on this information. If you have submitted your tax information electronically, you can link to the IRS website, and then you can fill out your demographic information, and your tax information will transfer directly into the FAFSA application. However, if you did not submit your information electronically, all you need is your W-2 forms from the previous year, and you will simply fill out your household income information appropriately on the following page. So just as in the demographic information, please refer to the help and hints section when answering each question, because each question will tell you where to find that particular number on your W-2s, if you have to do that. Otherwise, just make sure that the tax information that may have been transferred directly from the IRS website, just make sure that it matches up with your actual tax return information. And when you have finished this step, just click next and complete the rest of the application. After all of the parent information has been filled out, you will be asked to provide your student tax information. So if you're currently employed, this is where you will attach and submit your W-2s and tax returns and all of your personal income information. If you are not currently employed, you can click on the not going to file option, click next, and write down your financial information. So for instance, if you don't have a part-time job right now, you will just write your income down as 0, and you'll proceed to the next step. Finally, the last step is actually submitting and signing the FAFSA information. So you do this by scrolling through the box that basically states that all the information that you've provided has been accurate, and then you use the federal student aid ID that we've created in the first step and your federal student aid ID password, and you click sign, and then you will use your parents' federal student aid ID and their federal student aid ID password, and also sign the document. After completing this step, you have essentially completed the FAFSA. So just click next, submit your FAFSA information, and make sure to keep checking your email, because all of the confirmations, your status, the status of your applications, and the individual status of your FAFSA information for each college will be sent to your email. Congratulations, you have completed and submitted your FAFSA.